Hi, and welcome
welcome
to.
Socially Unsocial.
Oh, I didn't even jump in there with you. I like literally
You forgot where you were?
zoned out for a minute.
Hey, it's not me for once. I love that.
Oh, wow. This is amazing. Happy Monday. Turn the brain on.
It's episode 2 of season 2.
2 2.
I love it.
2. Twos are a lot of people's lucky numbers. Twos, 22s.
Yeah.
So maybe after this record, things will start looking brighter in my day.
Wouldn't we love that?
It would be amazing.
It's been a weird week.
Yeah.
I don't believe in retrograde. I don't even know what that is, like to believe in it or not. But man, it's been a doozy of a week. Was it in retrograde for 2 weeks or?
I'm not sure, but all I saw was on social media was like, congratulations, Mercury was in retrograde and you survived. And I'm like, barely.
Barely.
This last week and a half has been, pardon my French, shit show.
Your mom's gonna be so mad you just swore.
At least I said shit and not the F word.
Same thing. No, obviously the F word is worse. Wait, I love when this reminds me. One time my kids were like, "Mom, so and so said the C word," and I was like, "Oh, God." I'm like, "Wait a second, you guys are very young. This is like 2 years ago." I'm like, "Okay, this isn't good." Where they hear, oh, what? So then I'm like trying to pry with, you want to make it a big deal that it's serious. But you don't want to make it too big of a deal because you want it to go in their brain and out their brain and not be like a moment that they remember that they ever think of this word again. It's very difficult. You have nieces and nephews. So I'm like, oh, like, well, can you whisper the word that they said to me? Because I'm thinking, this is a good friend of mine's kid. I should probably tell the mom if the kid's going around saying that word. Mikey looks at me. He goes, yeah, Mom. Yeah. He goes, can I spell it for you first? And I'm like, sure. So he botches the spelling and I'm like, what word is this? And then finally I'm like, just whisper it, honey. Like, you're fine. I won't get mad. He goes, cheater.
I was like, thank God, because I'm sure everyone can know what the C word I was thinking of. See you next Tuesday.
I was so nervous. And I think, like I said, it was 2 years ago. So they're in like first grade. And I'm like, oh my God, that's actually like so cute. I was like, why was he talking about being a cheater? And he says, well, he said that so-and-so in the other class was cheating on the girlfriend. And I'm like, Mikey, you're too young for girlfriends. We know that, first off. And I said, yeah, and cheating, like, I'm not really sure. Did he like hold hands with another girl? Like, what is cheating?
Right.
Like, come on. But I just
looked at another girl. How dare you?
Like you took her scrunchie. I don't know but I was so relieved. And yeah, that's my fun childhood little heart attack, mini heart attack.
I had a heart attack listening to the story, so I can only imagine being the mom on that side of the story, being like, "Oh my God, please don't say that word. Please don't say that word."
Oh my gosh, seriously. So Mercury was in retrograde. Here's the thing. It says from April 1st to April 25th.
Oh, so it's still in retrograde.
So if you've been dealing with tech issues, miscommunications, weird vibe, or just general chaos, you can totally blame it on Mercury. I thought it was over.
I guess not.
I thought we still
have another. Well, miscommunication legit has been the thing the last week and a half. So that's super crazy. I didn't really know what that meant.
Okay, so interesting. There's a pre-shadow. There's a post-shadow. Is anybody listening into this? I know it's like a trending topic these days. I feel like it's, on like Instagram and stuff like that.
Because people are a little bit more spiritual, I think. And doesn't that, like, Mercury is kind of like psychics and tarot cards and the earth and astrology. Isn't it packaged with all that? Like, if you don't believe in, like, astrology, you probably don't believe in Mercury in the retrograde.
Right. I thought it was
Friday the 13th-ish kind of thing. Like, superstition-esque.
Here's the thing. It says, thank you, Chat GPT, that it's when the planet Mercury appears to move backward in the sky. It's actually not going backward, but it just looks that way from the Earth because of the way that we orbit. Since Mercury rules communication, technology, travel, and timing. Well, hello. Remember, I just was on the plane. My travel day was was crazy last week.
Oh yeah, but that was a day before because that was the 31st, right? You were flying home on the 31st.
Okay, well,
so maybe before.
And then yeah. Well, it's the pre-shadow was started on March 18th.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you know what? I officially actually don't believe this.
But
think
then
it's
it's weird because that's like science. So it's literally about science and the planet and the way we're orbiting.
Wow.
But
Wait, it literally says texts or emails getting misunderstood, tech breaking for no reason, travel plans getting delayed or messed up, old people or situations popping back up randomly. Want a funny analogy? We always do.
yeah.
It's like Mercury spilled coffee on your calendar and sent text to your ex. Okay, not that funny. Can I tell ChatGPT you're not that funny?
Like, can you explain this a little bit more funny? Like, I need it funnier. I need it catchier. I need to literally LOL.
Right. Well, that's literally what we're here for. What's your podcast about? Trying to just have a laugh.
Yeah.
Just trying to have a laugh.
Trying to
at life.
giggle our way through the tragedies.
We could just blame that what is it?
Mercury's record, or the fact that I just had my first cup of coffee and it hasn't kicked in and it's half decaf.
I know. Oh,
It's official. I feel, guys, my eyes are going, and I just need to give in to like going back to the eye doctor and then listening to them tell me like you probably need to wear glasses more often than you do, so that way you can read the writing on the K cups that say decaf.
Decaf. Yeah. I mean, it is tough. It's very small on there. You know what? When we were in Florida, my friend did that too because Mike drinks decaf.
Why does he drink decaf? Like at night?
No, he's off caffeine.
Oh, really?
He has made some solid changes in his like health and wellness routine, and unlike me, he's stuck to it. So he's been off caffeine. He doesn't eat a lot of sugar. He's doing really great.
Does he like he doesn't have like caffeine? Did he have caffeine withdrawals?
No, for like a day or two. He's good.
Because that juice cleanse that I did the other day took at the end of it. I was miserable because I was having a caffeine withdrawal.
For how many days though? Just one? Did you do a 1 day cleanse? I just did
1 day cleanse.
Okay, I feel like you should have done a 2 day cleanse. They're so good. But yes, of course, you're going to have a headache when you don't have caffeine.
Oh yeah. No, I was in pain for like 2 hours. I sat there with like a heating pad and a cold pad.
So when I do a juice cleanse, I have coffee.
Oh, did you?
Yep. And I felt phenomenal. I half did the cleanse, but that's half more than I would have any other day.
Yeah.
I consider it a win.
It was good. The juices were really good.
So good.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a juice cleanse, I went and bought the prepackaged one from Nectar. They give you 6 bottles and you drink them like every 2 to 3 hours. They were all very, very, very good.
Yeah.
So
they're delicious. And we are actually going to be at Nectar. Is it in 2 weeks?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I totally forgot.
Time is flying. April 28th.
25th, Friday, April 25th.
April 25th. We are going to be live at Nectar downtown Barrington. If you want to go, they have smoothies, they have acai bowls, they have oatmeal, they have what else?
Protein
these
shakes.
Cleanses. Yes, they have so much. And come hang out with us.
Yeah, we'll be there from 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
Yeah, we're going to be raffling off some sweatshirts and
socially unsocial merch. We love it.
Yeah. If you miss our faces and you're not watching us on YouTube, and you can't just get enough of us, stop on by. And we're going to hand out samples of their Orange Crush.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Cute.
So.
Oh, that's adorable.
That was Will's idea.
Love it.
Yeah. Someone knows you.
Yeah. I mean, I do like orange.
I came across this thing on Instagram the other day, and I thought it would be kind of cool to unpack this. Seeing that both Patty and I are both married, since we do have a lot of things that we're similar about, but we have a lot of things that we're not similar about. And we run our marriages a little bit different, I feel.
Listen, nobody's running my marriage, okay? Like, we are winging my marriage. Like, I like how you say we run our marriage. Like, no, we don't. Wait, like, you guys have the rules for how you argue. we don't have a spreadsheet on how our marriage is run.
In my head. Who runs the world?
Danielle. Who runs the world? Jay, say it with me. Who runs the world? Danielle. And we like go very monotone when we say Danielle. Danielle.
Danielle.
All right, let's go. Let's hear.
Okay, so
you run
it was this that over the last year, this person asked couples who have been married 50 plus years what advice they'd give to their younger self. So here's the relationship advice they say everyone needs to hear. So I figured it'd be fun to go through it and then unpack it, just to be like, okay, do you agree? Do you do this? Do you think you should implement this? And then I want our listeners, hopefully, to DM us and let us know too how your marriage is going and if you've learned anything from this. So I thought some of these were common sense-ish, and then some are like, okay, yeah, maybe I should implement that more. Like, I'm guilty of a lot of things.
Ooh.
And I will speak my truths today.
We will admit it. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
So number 1, tell your partner you love them every night before falling asleep. Someday you'll find the other side of the bed empty and wish you could.
Oh my God.
Are you
That's
crying?
so sad. Yes. Aw.
So do you tell Mike you love him every night before bed?
Well, his schedule is kind of weird. So sometimes
So when he's there, do you?
we don't like it's not a thing where we're like, love you, shut the lights, turn over. But yeah, I mean, we say I love you, good night, if we're going to sleep at the same time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
What do you say?
I just
You just start snoring.
routine is we're downstairs watching TV, and then once I'm done, I just get up and I walk upstairs. Like, that's how I know I'm done, and then he'll either come up or he'll stay downstairs.
Does he like text me when you get up to the room to let me know that you got there safe? But if you guys are both in bed at the same time, you brush your teeth, you slip into the, under the covers.
Yep, no. Like, sometimes he'll just, like, tickle my arm, but, like, there's no, like, I love you gazing into each other's eyes.
No, it's like, I love you, good night, good night.
No, yeah. I guess we should probably at least say goodnight to each other.
At the bare minimum.
All right, the next one's a good one because as much as we could say this, I know I do it. Number 2, never keep score in love.
Why wouldn't you? How are we supposed to know who's winning at all the arguments?
Right. Like, okay, well, today I won for sure. I conquered marriage. I conquered everything. I won.
I mean, I do know that my therapist would be like, you can't keep score like that. That's not how it works. Marriage isn't always 50-50. There's going to be seasons of life where you have to give 80 for longer than you want to because your partner's going to be, not
right. But
winning.
You still, like, can end the day being like, I think I won today. Like, I get the Wife of the Year award. And then the next day I'd be like, God, I was a piece of shit. He gets the Husband of the Year award. Like, he won today.
Sure. I think that when they're saying it's super toxic, when, if you're like in your head keeping score of like, okay, if it irks you that your significant other doesn't help out around the house, and then you can say to yourself, I used to do this when our babies were newborns. I'd be like, it has been 17 days and you have not gotten up with these screaming, crying baby once to change a diaper. Like you get psychotic and you're sleep deprived and keeping score is what maybe kept me awake while I was, nursing a baby or rocking them back to sleep. But no, it's not healthy.
So you feel like you do it less now that your kids are older?
Oh, yeah. I think we both know that we're losing. It's fine. We are in a losing battle in this parenthood.
We'll lose with grace.
No, don't keep score.
Okay,
absolutely.
Don't keep score.
Give grace, give patience. We could try that a little more.
Okay, number 3. Laugh until you cry. Laughing together goes a long way to smooth the inevitable bumps in the road.
Love that.
Yeah, I feel like we do. Like, especially, too, because our outside world is maybe more chaotic than our marriage. So it's helpful because we get to laugh at a lot of the outside stuff together. And sometimes it gives us a really good laugh.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah, if you can't laugh, go and just like sit and just be a friend for a little bit. I think that marriage or anything, it gets to be really robotic almost, where it's just, you go through the motions and you have all these things on your plates that you forget to just be like a fun best friend.
Yeah.
And when I get to have time with Mike where we can just not be parents and not be, doing our jobs or whatever, and just kind of take a little bit of time to just be like, okay, wait, this is my best friend again. And, just kind of have a laugh. That's great.
Yeah. It kind of like brings you back to like the why you said yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. 4, which never stop dating. I'm 99 and I'm still courting my wife. Marriages don't get boring. You just stop trying.
Aww.
Which I agree with that a lot because it's just like a friendship. It's easier just to be like, oh, I'm just going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix and then not meet your friends out. Same thing with a marriage. Like, it's like, it takes an effort to like crawl up on the couch and cuddle or to initiate, intimacy. It's just easier just to kind of go about your day instead of putting in the effort. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure for you guys, especially when you have kids, to set aside a time, whether it's once a week or once a month, like, okay, we're going to have date night. It might only be for an hour. We might just go to Wendy's and go through the drive-through and sit in the parking lot and just have a conversation, but just making sure you're carving out that time to remember what came first.
Totally. I see, speaking of social media and tying it in, I see a lot of these reels on Instagram where it'll be a couple in the car and they're like, oh, turns out we don't hate each other. We just needed time away from being a parent. And I love that because it's hard to, when you're in the thick of it and when the kids are screaming. Like last night, Mike was at work and Mike was working and he was texting me things. And I said, I'm just going to be honest. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with this. I'm home with the kids. I am tapped out. I can no longer think today. And he goes, oh, I totally hear that. Okay, bye. And I'm like, okay, cool. To just be like super honest instead of like snapping at him or being rude through texts, because literally Joseph was there. And I told Mike later, I was like, Joseph, when you were texting me, asking me the simplest question of like our plans coming up or whatever, I had a 4-year-old in my face who I just wanted to get him into bed. And he was like, Mom, I lost my diamond. Where's my diamond? And I'm just like, so there's these things that happen when your kids need you and they're pulling at you that you have nothing to give to anybody else, let alone yourself or your spouse. So yeah, it's just, and whether it's your boss or your 4-year-old who basically is your boss,
right.
It's hard to put that aside. Yeah.
But that's communication. So it's like, it's easy to snap. It's easy to ignore it. It's easy to deflect and be like, okay, Mike, like you don't understand what I'm going through. So I think it just goes back to, again, any kind of relationship. The key is communication. If you can't communicate. On the radio the other day, someone was calling in or whatever, and she was saying...
Was it Anna?
She had been married for 2 years, and her husband left her. And it was a part of communication, and she was like, I know it's my fault, because every time, though, I go to communicate with him, he gets defensive and is like, thinks I'm attacking him or berating him, and he's not being empathetic to how I'm feeling. So it is a two-way street. She's like, so then I just stop communicating with him.
Why would you just stop? No, that's when you have to figure out a way to communicate in a different way. If it's not hitting home. Yeah, so I guess
right.
It's, yeah.
But it can get frustrating. Can you imagine like having a conversation with someone and be like, this is how I feel, this is how I feel. And every time you tell them you feel that way, they like kind of like disregard your feeling and be like, well, you shouldn't feel this way. Or like, oh, I'm making you feel this way. And it's like, no, you're not making me feel this way, but I feel this way. I think communication comes down to, if you can't understand what someone's saying, then there's no point to communicate. Or if you're only hearing what you want to hear because you're got so many issues in your head anyways that you always go on the defense instead of the offense.
Yeah, well, while you're saying this, Mike and I have worked on our communication and, he's like my rock. But as we're talking about this, it's funny because so many other relationships in my life in the past couple of years with people that I have known almost my entire life or for my entire life, communication has been so hard. And so when you're saying all that, it's like, yes, I understand. And here's my stance on it. Like, we get to choose who is worth trying to communicate and to get through to. And if the person's not worth it to you, then that's fine. Then, you pack your bags and you go your separate ways and you move on and you kind of do that, like, let them theory of like, you're just going to let them misunderstand you, let them choose, another way. But if they are important to you, obviously like a spouse or maybe a family member or a best friend, if they're important, I have kind of adopted this thing, and I don't know, I'll maybe see in a couple of years if it works out for me or not. But for right now, I just know that there's certain people in my life where our communication is so bad, but I will not stop reaching out. And every time I do have to go a different avenue and try to be like, okay, we are hitting a wall here. Which path, is there a different path that I can take to communicate with this person? Because that person's not a bad person and I'm not a bad person. And how do I get there? Because, okay, there's a roadblock, then here's the roadblock, and here's the roadblock. So to keep showing up, being that same person and version of you, and being willing and only willing to communicate in a certain way, if it's not working, change it. Like, you need to change it. Go to therapy, try to do some work on yourself, try to figure out how you can show up in a different way if the relationship means enough to you.
Right. No, exactly. That's very well said.
Yay. Thanks.
Well, 1 point for Patty. Oh, okay. Number 5. Do one act of service for your partner every day, but never tell them about it. I like that
That's cute.
because it could be something so small too. But I feel like we are also like in that, like, oh, like Jay will be like, oh, I did the dishes. I cooked dinner. Like, yeah, I see. I could literally have eyeballs. I see that you did that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I like that. I mean, we do so many acts of service and it's so unnoticed because the kids just rule the house and everything's, a mess. But I wonder if I start doing things, I think also to kind of add on, like that's part 1 and then also like a part 2, because how you're saying, I do this all the time. I'll be like, Mike, I took the garbage out or I did this, but like fishing for compliments, like you do these acts of service and you want them to notice and they are grateful. So if you're the partner that you see that there's an act of service that has been done, please don't let it go unnoticed. Don't let it go unacknowledged.
Right. It's the
or
little
unthanked.
things. And it's just like a little thank you, and it goes back to the love languages because sometimes your language is not acts of service. So if your love language is acts of service and someone's doing them for you and they go unnoticed, then that person is like feeling like they go unnoticed. So it just like
Absolutely.
adds a different layer and probably more complications down the road.
Right. Definitely.
All right, number 6. Time doesn't heal when it comes to relationships. Don't delay difficult conversations. Oh my God. This one is...
What?
I feel like we've gotten to a good place where we have the hard talks and the difficult conversations. So I don't think that's a problem in our marriage. I feel like that happens in other parts of my life with other people because some people just can't find the words or are not secure with themselves enough to say the things that they want to say. But yeah, I think this is just going down to like, don't sweep things under the rug. When something happens, you have to address it right away. Don't wait 3 weeks because at that point you probably did more harm than good.
Yeah, it builds and it festers and then it comes out when you're like, a ticking time bomb and then eventually it blows up in your face. And then at that point, you are not like mentally sound. Like you've hit your wall. Talk to the person before you hit your wall because you are going to present it in a better way.
Yeah, you're going to be resentful and now you're going to like just say things to hurt the person on purpose.
Right, if you let it
we're
go
all
too.
guilty of that.
I know. I love that. I love seeing that in movies. I'm like, ooh, they really went low, And they're like, you're just like your father. Or whatever.
Okay, so number 8. No one has ever argued their way through a happy marriage. Which I kind of...
Don't say you disagree.
Well, I understand, like, you've never... Like, people don't argue their way and have a happy marriage. But I also see people that don't argue because they're afraid of conflict and starting problems. So they pretend everything's great and amazing, but they don't unpack the real stuff because they're afraid that they're going to get into a fight. So to me, I don't think that that's healthy either.
Correct. No, it's just being real. So back to the last one, have the real conversations, work through it, communicate in whatever ways going to work for you two, and then therefore you won't argue your way through life.
Right.
You'll have the hard talks, but it's not going to lead to like never-ending arguments because you're going to work on it to come together and understand one another.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Interesting.
Maybe I'll rewrite a few of these.
Can you just write a book?
This is one you touched on. It can't always be 50-50. Sometimes it will be 90-10 or 10-90. It just has to add up to 100.
Aw. Yeah, I think that the problem is, so going through life, you have the ups and downs and the times that are really going to tear you down. Sometimes it makes sense. Whatever it is that you're going through, there's obvious points when it's super clear that you are not going to be the one to give that equal effort to things. But then there's times, and I think this is almost the hardest part, when life just happens and there's no rhyme or reason to why you feel the way that you feel or why you're not able to give. And that's the times when you have to be super self-aware and like be doing work on yourself to even know that and to ask for what you need. Because if you don't know that you're struggling and if you don't allow yourself to say no rhyme or reason, but I'm struggling right now and I need somebody to help me out, pick up the slack for a bit.
Right. But do you think you're at that place in your marriage where if you're struggling and having a 10% day, that Mike would notice being around you that you're struggling and just automatically give you the 90? Or do you think you'd have to ask for the 90 from him?
No, I think that I would be silly to assume that Mike is a mind reader. And I
think that's a good point, because some people, do, because like, how does he not realize I'm stressed out and I'm aggravated and I've been locked in my office all day and like, didn't he hear me crying or, whatever. And it's like, we assume that the person, even though we've been with them for as long as we have, understands like what we're thinking and feeling. And it goes back to biology. I know a lot of people don't believe in that anymore, but like women and men, handle things different. They feel things different. And you can't just assume that your partner is feeling that energy. I mean, I'm sure they probably like, okay, once you say it, they're like, okay, you kind of seemed off today, so I understand. But it's asking for that, like, hey. And that happens. We do a really good job of that, because there's days where I'm so busy and I'm like, if you don't, like, you're cooking tonight. Like, if you don't feel like cooking, then you have to figure out, like, order takeout, or I can pick something up on my way home. But, like, I don't have the energy to do that, because if we do, by the time we come home, we're going to be eating at 9 o'clock at night. And, like, the last thing I want to do is start cooking at 8 p.m. So just simple things like that, just asking for the help when you need the help and not just assuming that person knows you need it.
Absolutely. And I think that takes a lot of self-awareness, because that comes first. You have to understand that about yourself, because I think years ago, maybe you would have just gone home and just been miserable. But now you know better. You know yourself, you understand what you need to work at your full potential. And if you're not there, then you take it a step further, and now you communicate that need. And then it's up to your partner to either, hit a home run, he's up to bat, or to kind of let you down. But then, it's on them. It's not on you at that point, which I think is what we all want to get to, is that level of communication.
Right. 10. Maintain interest and passions separate from your partner. Marriage should not be the end of individuality. I love this so much. I was just talking to someone about that, because some people, I think, assume that when you're in a relationship, you do everything together. And it's like, if they don't do it, then you don't do it, or you're doing it together. And I feel like there's no way to grow. And maybe, again, I don't know. I have to look up these statistics, but maybe people that don't have their own life and they only have one life, like, does their marriage last as long as somebody who, has a life of their own and then a life with their partner?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wonder, I'm sure that there's some sort of research that says, if you don't foster relationships, friendships outside of your significant other, how long does it last? Now, but that is interesting, because if you get into it, like certain relationships that are in my life are coming to my mind right now. And I'm like, well, I feel like they're gonna make it, because all that they've got is each other. And it takes a really, really, I don't know if it's a strong person, but it takes somebody who's really ready for a change to divorce from that person.
Oh, yeah, but maybe you don't divorce, but maybe you're not happily married.
Exactly.
Because I think we do a good job. That was like one of my non-negotiables, like when we started dating. It's like, if you can do it, I can do it. And you need a life and I need a life. So if you want to go out with your friends, that's cool. But I get to go out with my friends too.
100%.
Because some people do that double standard. Like some wives or some husbands are super jealous, and so they won't, allow, I can do it, but you can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's very odd. Sometimes when I try to make, or I have plans with my girlfriends, and then I'm like, hey, because Mike is, I don't want to say guys aren't good at being social and doing the planning.
Oh, yeah, but
But in my relationship, it's me that's and my friends that are begging me, I'm so popular, they're not begging me to go out with them, but that make the plans. And then Mike's friends necessarily don't. So if I've been out a couple times, this is where I do kind of keep score, where I want him to be out with his friends. I want him to have that outlet other than me, kids, work.
Right. No, that's definitely healthy, and some people need a push. And it goes on the other side, because I have a girlfriend where her husband will text me like, she needs a night out, like, call her, get her date, like, just take her, I got the kids. And so he'll initiate that for her, because she's that person that's she's so busy with life and work and kids that sometimes she doesn't think about it. She needs that person to reach out to her. So I think that's amazing that the husband, steps up and does that.
Yeah, he's probably like, she's gonna be miserable in about 7 to 10 business days if she doesn't get out with her friends.
Yeah,
He's learned. He is
oh yeah,
very.
he's on top of it. Okay, so now we're on to number 11. When in doubt, love. We can always use more love. I feel like that's very generic, like blah. Okay, yeah, cool. Blah, yeah. All you need is love. Yeah,
I'm over here like
obviously.
teary-eyed, and you're like, dumb.
But like that's common sense. But I guess we can't really chalk up that everyone understands common sense.
I know. It's really hard because sometimes you get into these like scenarios with your significant other or with somebody that you care about, and you paint them out to just be like, like the worst, like they don't care and they'll never understand you and da-da. And at the end of the day, it's like we're all just trying our best.
I guess, yeah, I probably should do that because I do feel like I probably say I hate you more than I love you. But in like a
You
joke,
say I hate you. Oh my God,
but in
Mike.
like a joking manner, because he's like, if he'll like make fun of me and like say something in a joking manner, like I hate you.
Yeah, Mike tries to joke with me and he'll be like, it's a joke. I'll be like, I don't think it's funny. I'll be like, joke with somebody else.
Yeah, our humor's not aligning right now. No, I'm about to go in the corner and cry. Okay, let's see if the next one's better. 12. If your relationship has minor issue, repair it. Minor issues become major issues over time.
Oh, 100%.
So good.
The cracks in the foundation.
But that's the same thing with those couples that ignore it and be like, okay, it'll just fix itself. I don't want to talk about it. He's going to be mad at me if I say that, or she's going to be mad at me if I say that. Mm-hmm. And then you wake up one day and it's like, holy shit.
I do think that the more that you are happy with yourself, the easier it is to be happy in your relationship. Like, I just have to say, like, our marriage goes like up and down. We have the best of times, and then we have times where we're like both struggling. And it's just when, like, if you're not in therapy, if you don't have friends that you can be real with, if you're not reading a self-help book actively, once every couple months, put in work on yourself, please. Because we're all idiots. We're all here for the first time. We're all messing it up over and over and over. And then you get with somebody else who's also an idiot and also going to mess it up over and over and over again. And you expect some successful marriage, some like
right.
great relationship. It's almost impossible. So I think that it just has to be that.
There's no magic wand.
There's no magic wand. You have to work on yourself. And for anybody out there who's like, oh, I don't care about therapy. There's free therapy. There's online therapy. You can call somebody at your own schedule. Just please, for the love of God and everybody on earth.
That just goes back to the people that are delusional.
Ugh, well, you know what? We all need it. There's no like, oh yeah, you're great, you're good. You like, get to skip this part of working on yourself. No, work on yourself. However it looks. For the sake of you, your partner, your children, your friends, your coworkers, all that stuff. I forget what number we're on or why I even went off on that tangent. Could you repeat number 12?
If your relationship has a minor issue, repair it.
Yeah.
You were busy pointing your eyelash curler at me like it was a knife or a scissor or something, like you want to stab me.
It's my fidget spinner today.
All right, this is 13. Never raise your voice with your partner. I feel like that is, get rid of it. Yeah,
I love yelling.
Yeah, that's great. Like we could try to work towards that, but that's like unrealistic. So
because we're both Italian, we're like
goodbye. Next. Number 13. 14. Every relationship is a work in progress. The mutual desire for improvement is what builds a lifelong bond. Which I get that, because if like one person wants a great relationship and the other one doesn't care, like how do you make a successful relationship out of that? Like at that point, there's like some problems, and you either need therapy or you need a divorce lawyer.
My favorite quote is, you have to find somebody, not that just like you guys have, like interests, but that you can sit and gaze out to the future and be like seeing the same things at the end of the day. Yeah. Did you watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
Love it. Do you know about the front porch test that they?
Yeah.
I love that. And it's just like, who do you want to be sitting on the front porch with when you're old and gray and you've, run out of things to talk about? And it can't be one of your girlfriends. It like has to be,
it's Jay. And once Jay dies, it'll be my golden girls compound.
Perfect. I love I don't know. I don't know what I see for me when I'm old. I hope like grandkids. I hope that I'm like my mom, where I get to just be around the grandkids.
That's good to have goals.
Or on a beach with a margarita.
I'm choosing beach and margarita.
Yeah, grandkids can come visit. Find me.
Yeah.
Find me on a beach.
15. You cannot take care of your partner if you aren't taking care of yourself. And
Amen.
I feel like we touched on that a little bit. Yeah.
Amen.
Same thing. Yeah. 16. It is more important to be right. Is it more important to be right or to be married? Stubborn pride is a downfall of relationships. I feel like we struggle with that sometimes because Jay, if you guys know my husband, he needs to be right or have like the knowledge of being right.
You know what I think it is? You guys both are very good conversationalists. Like, no one's going to go to a bar and sit next to one of you guys and not have an interesting conversation. Because you guys, I don't know, it's like you'll talk about different things, you'll bring up different points and kind of strong stances on that. Because it's very boring to talk to someone that just like goes with the flow. Like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's it.
Right. I was thinking about that today when I was driving here because I was like, everything's been bothering me lately. More so than normal.
Yeah. What's new about that?
And I was thinking about like the thing I love, like having conversations with people and hanging out with people and going to dinner with people and talking to people. And the worst thing like I struggle with is like if you have some people in your life, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, the people that are just not good conversationalists, where you're like just constantly trying to pull a conversation from them. And it's like, okay, well, if I ask them this question and then their person's like with the one word answers and then they don't like reciprocate with a question. So it's not like you're volleying the conversation.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I don't have time for those people.
I know. I really need to get rid of them.
What are they, friends? Like coworkers?
Like friends, acquaintances. I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's just...
What like a waste of time.
I know. I know. I have to figure out a nice way to tell them, like, learn to have a conversation or I'm over it.
How do you teach somebody how to be interesting?
But that's funny because was I telling this to you or someone else? We were talking about this. There's literally now millennials or what's after millennials, Xennials, G-Zen, whatever the fuck it is. They are literally taking classes on how to talk to people because they don't know how to talk to people. Isn't that scary? Because everything is via text message or email or whatever. Like no one knows how to have a conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like where did we pivot? Where did we go wrong? Because how do people not know how to have a conversation?
I think it was like just not having the balance and just letting like maybe technology and like no responsibility, like eye contact. Like when you're talking to someone, look them in the eye. When you sit down next to someone, you don't have to like tell them your life story, but just say, hey, hi, and then understand like, yeah, texting is easy, right? But maybe the people that you care about, pick up the phone and have a conversation with them. Or when you are in a room, I mean, even if it's like family gatherings or whatever, like communicate with the people in the room and not just find a corner and sit on your phone.
It's so interesting because I don't know, like maybe I've been raising my babies for when this all kind of started. But, now that I think about it, when you're out and you see everybody with their earphones in, it is basically like that signal that like there will be no communication. Like you're not there for it. And then it's like, wow, are we just like in a world of people who just don't want small talk and like pleasantries?
Right, but I think there's a time and a place. Like I'm not going to go chase you down the street when you're wearing your earbuds, like, hey, how are you? Like the weather, blah, 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 blah,
But there is something to be said about just being nice and neighborly. I also think that, with social media and stuff, we are privy to all the craziness that's out there, and like stranger danger is just so big that maybe that kind of plays into it too. To where it's like, why would you talk to a stranger? We talked about this in one of like our earliest episodes where you had sent to me something where it's like, or I don't know, maybe I sent it to you. God only knows. But it was like, back in the day, if somebody came to your house and rang your doorbell, you would open it with your smile on and be like, well, can I give you some, tea and crumpets or cookies or what,
Are we in England?
Like back in like the 50s, it was so exciting to get, someone coming to your door.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you turn off all the lights and you hide under the door and
Right.
pray that they run away. So it's just so different.
It is. It is.
And I don't think that necessarily we need to make a class on how to be, how to be outgoing or interesting or whatever. I mean, there's shy people and I get that. And then there's outgoing people and I get that too. But if we could all just like that one number that you said was really boring in this, where it's like just love more, it's like, yeah, just show up, like treat your neighbors nice, like try to be
Just
like,
say hello. Put your head up and say hello.
totally. Hi, how you doing? Instead of just avoiding eye contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't all have to be like Mike and be like making everybody laugh that we meet, trying to get strangers to be our
Try to
best
be
friend.
more like Mike.
Yeah, I feel like Mike would nail it as a Trader Joe's checkout person.
Maybe that's what he can do when he retires. I
Yeah.
can see him in that shirt for sure.
Well, I could see him in any shirt. He's gonna make any shirt look good. It doesn't have to be his uniform. But yeah, we could all be a little bit more kind, interesting,
yeah,
and fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, do you want to segue over to what your high of the week was? Low of the week?
Oh, my high. Okay. I did a mastermind class, or not, it wasn't a class. So one of my agent friends put together like all the agents and we met for coffee and kind of just brainstormed and talked about the industry and our struggles right now and what we're doing. So
Nice.
being an agent, I'm a solo agent, so I don't go into I work at a brokerage that doesn't even have an office. But you're always by yourself usually, or you're with your clients and you're not really talking to your clients about strategy. I mean, you're walking them through the strategies and whatnot. But so it was really great. So it was like an hour and a half, like hanging out with like-minded people, talking about the struggles, like people who understand it. Because like if you're not in the industry, like I don't think Jay cares to hear. You don't really care to hear, like, or you're looking at me like I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, yeah, people listen, but like to bounce ideas off each other. So it was really good. Like a really great day, felt very empowered. And then on top of it, like I became obsessed with pour over coffee when we came back from Costa Rica. It's like the best way to make the coffee because it makes it less bitter, but not a lot of places do it. And I found 2 places back to back this week that had it, one in Crystal Lake and then one in the city. And I was
What are they called?
It's Aroma Cafe in Crystal Lake, and it's so cute there too. Downtown Crystal Lake, and then the other one is Truce in Wicker Park. So it was like made my day. I'm like, I never treat myself to coffee. I'm like, it pains me actually to buy coffee. Like if I do it once a week and that's it. One of the cheap things about me. So then I'm like, when I got there, I'm like, I saw it on the menu. I'm like, oh my God, 2 days in a row. This is amazing. So 2 highs, actually.
That's so great. There's something to be said about collaborating and being around people that are passionate about what you're passionate about. I sent Danielle like a Instagram thing and it was like, I don't know what my best friend does. I just know that she's killing it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know the insides, in and outs of real estate and what you're doing, but I see your efforts and I see how good you're at it, like doing at it, that I do, love it, but I can't kind of like take you to that next level of your real estate because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what works. So like, that's great. I'm happy that you got to do that.
Yeah. So it was
That's so
great too,
fun.
because I feel like I deserve 2 highs because I had like 17 lows.
You deserve a million highs. Are you still doing that thing in your phone where good things are always happening?
You know what? I fell off. I fell off of that. I mean, I think about it every day, but like I haven't written in it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just really trying to be conscious because I'm like, even on my lows, like some people would trade me for my low, so I try to be very, very cognitive of that.
Like you're saying that like your low's not as bad as others?
No, because like I do, like I get in I'm like, oh my God, I have both legs at work and arms at work, and I have a job and I have a home and I have food on the table. Like I try to constantly remind myself, like,
How lucky.
I don't have it that bad. Even though I have a bad day, my bad day would be someone's good day.
100%.
And that's what I take and run with, even on my bad, the worst days.
Wow, I love that.
My low is just, I've pissed off a lot of people in the last week and a half, from friends, family, clients,
Oh, you hit them all.
cowork, like literally every person in my life, every category, I've done it.
Oh, okay. Trifecta.
Yeah.
Nice work. Congratulations. You nailed it. Are you okay? Shoot. That's hard. I hate when I'm fighting with everyone because then I know it's me. I know then when everyone's mad at me, I know it's
Right.
me.
And I feel like I could have stopped some of it from happening if I just would have paused and thought about what I said before I said it. But it was coming, most of them were like coming from a loving space that maybe it just didn't land well, or someone just didn't understand why I needed to justify it in that way.
Yep. Okay.
And as much as I thought I was getting better at this, of keeping my mouth shut, just sometimes it sneaks in.
Old habits die hard. Oof.
But I survived. It's okay.
Yeah, you survived.
I think I'm okay. I'm made up with most of them.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I think.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck with the rest. We'll see how this plays out. Oh,
I hope you had a better week than I did.
my week literally was amazing.
Oh, good, good, good. Someone had an amazing week.
Yeah, and my week's been amazing. I am in the works of opening up my own cycle studio.
Say it.
I know I can say it's not official. I'm still have not signed the lease, which is took a while, but we are closer every day, 1% closer every day. But over the
What's
weekend,
the name?
it's Party Cycle Movement.
Ooh.
It's not just a workout class; it's a whole movement.
Love it. Love it. I'm so excited. I've never been more excited to cycle in my life.
I'm so excited. It's still so surreal for me, but now I've got my website domain. I'm taking all these huge, huge steps. So a huge high. I got to spend the weekend with a lot of amazing people doing really exciting things, teaching classes, kind of getting content, getting ready, and just kind of being around my team. And we're going to open it up to auditions and trying to, obviously, we need a big team to make this work. So in the next month, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be, kind of like head down, just racing forward, trying to get this all set.
So if any of our listeners are a cycle enthusiast or want to learn how to be an cycle enthusiast from one of the best,
please
reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to connect and collaborate and get a bigger team going. And then my low of the week is literally everything I just said. Trying to get this thing going. If you are a website developer, first off, wow. I don't know how you do what you do. I'm trying to build a website. I'm literally on Mars. I'm like, it's so foreign to me. I have no idea what all this stuff is. So that was my low, 100%. Just literally sitting at my computer thinking, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I don't understand this. And trying to get help and trying to, it really humbles you, the work that needs to be done. And I feel like I'm just at the beginning. So I'm just like,
But that's exciting too, because now you're learning stuff you don't know, which to me, that makes it exciting. It's not like mundane.
Right.
Because you're so good at being an instructor and creating an environment. So now you're learning about the other side of the business. Mm-hmm. And that should be like, okay, I'm learning something new. Like, this is exciting. I'm going to become an expert here now.
Yeah. Although if you're already an expert, a website developer, I'm happy. I'm happy to collaborate. There's some things in life you just don't need outsourced.
And that's what they say. If you're not good at something, you hire the people to do that. Mm-hmm. Don't try to figure it out. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Do not.
Yeah.
You just need to find the right person.
Hire a professional.
Absolutely.
That's why they're out there. That's why they get paid the big bucks.
I know.
Well, that's so exciting. I'm so happy that you made it socially unsocial official.
I know, finally. I feel like we've been talking about it. A lot of my lows and highs and exciting things have, like, in the back of my mind always been, about Party Cycle Movement, but it's fun to finally say it. So, yay.
Congratulations. And so when it gets up and running, I'm going to try to get a bunch of us to go and take the class. And
you've been warned.
Yeah, you've been warned. You can watch me and my very low cycle skills just participate. So.
Oh, I can't wait.
This has been a great episode. I hope you enjoyed our ins and outs of marriage, and I hope you learned something, or maybe we'll implement something into your life and hopefully make your marriage just a little bit better.
And if it's not a marriage, just any relationship in your life, friendship that you care about. If it's worth it to you, keep trying, keep communicating, keep working on yourself.
Yeah, and we're going to keep being us, so you can keep being you.
Bye.